Taeyang had seen many strange things in his 3 years working on space stations, but nothing prepared him for what happened that afternoon on the alien planet's surface. The research station Horizon's Edge floated in orbit around a newly discovered world. The planet had forests made of crystal trees and oceans that glowed at night. Taeyang worked as a scientist studying alien plants and animals. He was 28 years old and had always dreamed of finding something new in space. Today he thought he would just collect some plant samples like always. His team had landed their shuttle near a forest of blue crystal formations. The trees sparkled in the sunlight, making rainbow patterns on the ground. Taeyang walked between the crystal structures with his scanner, checking for any dangerous radiation or toxic gases. Everything seemed safe. "I'm going to check the eastern section," Taeyang said into his radio. "The readings show something interesting there." "Don't go too far," Hana replied. She was the station commander and Taeyang's friend since training days. "We need to head back in 30 minutes. "I'll be quick," Taeyang promised. He walked deeper into the crystal forest, following his scanner's beeping signals. The device showed unusual energy patterns ahead. Maybe it was a new type of mineral or some kind of alien technology. His heart beat faster with excitement. Then everything changed. One moment, Taeyang stood alone among the crystal trees. The next moment, she was there. A girl appeared right in front of him without any warning. No sound, no flash of light, no spaceship landing. She just existed where nothing had been a second before. Taeyang stumbled backward, almost dropping his scanner. His training screamed at him to run, to call for help, to do something. But he couldn't move. He could only stare. She looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin had a pale blue tint that seemed to glow softly from within. Strange markings covered her arms and neck, lines that pulsed with light and patterns Taeyang couldn't understand. Her hair was long and white, moving slightly even though there was no wind. But her eyes caught his attention most of all. They changed colors as she looked at him, shifting from blue to green to purple. The alien girl tilted her head, studying Taeyang like he was the most fascinating thing she had ever seen. She moved closer, taking slow steps. Taeyang's hand went to his emergency beacon, but he didn't press it. Something about her movements told him she meant no harm. She seemed curious, not threatening. She circled around him, never taking her eyes off his face. Her head tilted the other way and she made a soft sound almost like singing. It wasn't words in any language Taeyang knew. Just a gentle melody that made him feel calm despite the impossible situation. Then she reached out and touched his helmet. Her fingers traced the glass faceplate slowly. She seemed amazed by it, by him, by everything about him. Taeyang held his breath as she examined his equipment, touching his scanner, his sample containers, even the patches on his suit. "Can you understand me?" Taeyang asked quietly. His voice shook a little. The alien girl paused. She looked directly into his eyes through his helmet. Then she smiled. It was a genuine smile, warm and somehow familiar. She touched the helmet right where his face was, pressing her palm against the glass as if trying to feel his skin. Taeyang should have been terrified. Every protocol he learned said to retreat from unknown alien contact. Call for backup. Establish safe distance. Document everything. But he couldn't move away from her. Something in her behavior, in those color-changing eyes, made him feel like she knew him somehow. She walked around him again, this time reaching up to touch his shoulders, his arms examining him from every angle. It reminded Taeyang of how researchers on Earth studied ancient artifacts in museums. She treated him like something precious and rare. "Taeyang, report status," Hana's voice crackled through his radio, making him jump. The alien girl jumped too, backing away quickly. "I'm fine," Taeyang said, not taking his eyes off the girl. "Just checking the readings. You sound strange. Everything okay?" "Yes, everything's fine. I'll be right there." When he looked back, the alien girl had moved closer again. This time she mimicked his movements. When he raised his hand, she raised hers. When he stepped to the left, she stepped to the left. She tilted her head the same way he did. It was like looking in a mirror, except the reflection was an impossible alien being. Taeyang heard voices in the distance. His team was coming to check on him. The alien girl's eyes flashed bright red for a moment. She looked toward the approaching voices, then back at Taeyang. She made that singing sound again, but this time it sounded sad. She reached out one more time, touching his chest plate right over his heart. She held her hand there for several seconds, and Taeyang felt warmth spreading through his suit. It shouldn't have been possible. The suit was insulated, temperature controlled. but he felt her warmth anyway. Then she stepped back. Her form became transparent, like glass or water. Taeyang blinked and she was gone. Vanished completely. No trace that she had ever been there. Taeyang. Jiwon, the station's engineer, appeared through the crystal trees. "What are you doing out here? You look like you've seen a ghost." Taeyang looked around the empty forest. Had it really happened? "I thought I saw something." Minho, their language expert, joined them with his equipment scanning the area. "Saw what? Alien wildlife?" "Maybe," Taeyang said. He couldn't tell them the truth. They would think he was crazy or sick. The readings were strange, but it was probably just the crystal formations reflecting light. Hana arrived last, her expression worried. "Your heart rate spiked on our monitors. Are you sure you're okay?" "I'm fine," Taeyang insisted. "Just got startled by my own shadow." "Let's head back," but he wasn't fine. As they walked back to the shuttle, Taeyang kept looking over his shoulder, hoping and fearing he would see her again. Those color-changing eyes haunted his thoughts. That night, back on the station, Taeyang sat in his small quarters trying to focus on his research reports. He couldn't concentrate. His mind kept replaying every moment of the encounter. The way she moved, the way she looked at him, the warmth of her touch through his suit. He rubbed his eyes, tired from the long day. When he opened them again, he froze. There on his desk, where nothing had been before, sat a small crystal object. It was shaped like a teardrop and glowed with soft blue light, the same light that had pulsed in the alien girl's markings. Taeyang picked it up carefully. It was warm, almost alive in his hand. The light pulsed gently like a heartbeat. She had been here. Inside the station, past all their security systems, all their locked doors and sensors, she had entered his private quarters without setting off a single alarm. Taeyang held the crystal up to the light, watching the glow pulse in steady rhythm. Outside his window, the alien planet rotated slowly, its crystal forests catching starlight. Somewhere down there, she existed, the girl who appeared without warning. The girl who looked at him like she had been searching for him her whole life. He should report this. Tell Hana about the crystal, about the encounter, but something stopped him. Instead, Taeyang placed the crystal carefully in his desk drawer and locked it. Tomorrow he would try to understand what happened. Tonight he would wonder why an impossible alien girl had chosen him, and what she wanted. Most of all, he wondered if she would come back. The crystal pulsed softly in the drawer, glowing in the darkness like a promise. 3 days passed since Taeyang first saw the alien girl. 3 days of looking over his shoulder, jumping at shadows and finding strange gifts in impossible places. The second gift appeared in the station's greenhouse where Taeyang worked alone. He was examining soil samples when he noticed a flower sitting on his workbench. Not a normal flower, but something that seemed to be made of living light. It had no roots, no stem touching the surface. The flower just floated above the bench, spinning slowly. When Taeyang moved closer, the flower made a sound. It sang, a soft, beautiful melody that filled the greenhouse. He reached out to touch it, and the flower dissolved into sparkles of light that drifted around him like snow. Taeyang spun around, searching for her. She was nowhere to be seen, but he felt her presence somehow. He knew she was watching. "Where are you?" he whispered to the empty greenhouse. No answer came, but the sparkles of light gathered together and formed a new shape. For just a moment, Taeyang saw her face made of light smiling at him. Then it faded away. The third gift came that night. Taeyang woke up to find his quarters filled with soft blue light. Small stones floated throughout the room, drifting like bubbles in water. Each stone glowed from within, casting gentle shadows on the walls. He sat up in bed and watched the floating stones dance around each other in complex patterns. "This is impossible," Taeyang said to himself. "The station's gravity system doesn't allow for this. These stones shouldn't float." But they did float, defying all laws of physics he understood. Taeyang got out of bed and walked through the floating stones. They moved aside gently as he passed, like fish swimming away from a diver. He reached the window and looked out at the planet below. She stood outside his window. Taeyang's heart nearly stopped. They were in space. His quarters were on the outer ring of the station. There was no platform outside, no place to stand. Just the void of space and the stars beyond. Yet she stood there as if the window was just another door. She pressed her hand against the glass from outside, and Taeyang pressed his hand against the inside, matching her position. Her eyes changed colors rapidly, blue, green, purple, gold. She was trying to tell him something, he realized. The colors meant something. They were a language he didn't understand yet. Then she smiled and faded away like smoke. The floating stones in his room fell to the floor all at once, making soft clicking sounds. Taiyang stood there breathing hard, his hand still pressed against the cold window. The next morning, Hana called a team meeting. Everyone gathered in the station's conference room. Taiyang sat quietly, hoping this wasn't about his strange experiences. "We've detected unusual energy patterns throughout the station," Hana announced, looking tired. "Jiwan, can you explain?" Jiwan pulled up data on the main screen. Charts and graphs filled the display. "Something is entering the station regularly. Our sensors can't identify it. It passes through our walls like they don't exist. It doesn't trigger any alarms or security measures. Whatever it is, it's far beyond our technology." Minho leaned forward in his seat. "Could it be some kind of energy being? Pure consciousness without physical form?" "Maybe," Jiwan said. "But it leaves physical objects behind. We found strange flowers in the greenhouse that shouldn't exist, stones that defy gravity in Taiyang's quarters, and the AI recorded temperature anomalies in several locations." Taiyang felt everyone's eyes turn toward him. He tried to keep his expression neutral. "Taiyang," Hana said gently, "you found the first anomaly. The crystal on your desk. Have you experienced anything else unusual?" He wanted to lie, to protect the secret, but Hana was his friend, and the whole team deserved to know. "Yes," he admitted. "I see her. The alien. She visits me." The room went silent. Jiwan looked shocked. Minho grabbed his datapad and started taking notes furiously. Hana just nodded slowly, like she had suspected this all along. "Tell us everything," Hana said. Taiyang described the encounters, the first meeting in the crystal forest, the gifts, the way she appeared and disappeared, how she stood outside his window in space. As he talked, he watched his teammates' faces change from disbelief to concern to fascination. "This is incredible," Minho said when Taiyang finished. "This could be a form of first contact. Maybe her behavior is their version of introduction protocols. Different species might have different ways of showing peaceful intention. Or she's studying him," Jiwan suggested, "like a scientist examining a specimen." "It doesn't feel like that," Taiyang said quietly. "It feels more personal. Like she's looking for something specific in me. Or maybe," he hesitated, "maybe she's courting me." Jiwan laughed, but it died quickly when he saw Taiyang's serious expression. "You're not joking?" "I don't know what else to call it," Taiyang said. "The gifts. The way she watches me. How she mimics my movements. Back on Earth, when someone is interested in you romantically, they do similar things. They give gifts. They try to get your attention. They mirror your behavior to create connection. That's a human behavior," Hana pointed out. "We can't assume aliens think like us, but what if they do?" Minho said excitedly. "What if there are universal behaviors that all intelligent species share? Courtship might be one of them. The desire to connect with another being." The discussion continued for hours. They debated theories and possibilities. Should they try to capture her? Should they communicate? Was Taiyang in danger? No one had good answers. That night, Taiyang returned to his quarters expecting another visit. He wasn't disappointed. This time she didn't hide or stay distant. She appeared directly in his room, standing beside his desk like she had always been there. Taiyang didn't jump or shout. He just looked at her and she looked back. They stood in silence for a long moment. "Who are you?" Taiyang asked. "Why me?" She tilted her head, listening to his voice. Then she moved closer. She reached out slowly, giving him time to move away. When he didn't, she touched his face with her hand. Her skin was warm and felt almost human. Her eyes locked onto his, cycling through colors. Taeyang felt something then, a sensation like falling but not scary. Like diving into warm water. Images flashed through his mind. Not words, but feelings and pictures. He saw a planet, her planet. He saw her people, beings of light and energy. He saw them waiting, searching, hoping. He saw them searching for humans. "You've been looking for us," Taeyang whispered. "For my species, why?" She made that singing sound, and this time Taeyang understood it wasn't just noise. It was emotion given voice, longing, hope, recognition. She was trying so hard to communicate, but they didn't share a language yet. She touched his chest again, over his heart, just like in the crystal forest. The warmth spread through him. Then she did something new. She placed his hand over her chest. where her heart would be if her species had hearts like humans. He felt a pulse there, a rhythm similar to a heartbeat but faster, more complex. They stood like that for several minutes, two beings from different worlds, trying to understand each other through touch and presence. No words, no technology, just connection. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the station. Emergency lights flashed. Taeyang pulled away, looking toward his door. What's happening? The station's AI voice announced, solar storm approaching. All personnel to safe zones. Radiation levels critical. Taeyang's blood went cold. Solar storms were deadly in space. The station had shielding, but it wasn't perfect. If the storm was strong enough, they would all need to get to the reinforced safe rooms in the station's core. He looked back at the alien girl. Her eyes had turned bright red, the color of alarm. She grabbed his arm, not gently this time, but urgently. She pulled him toward her, and her whole body began to glow brighter and brighter. What are you doing? Taeyang asked. The station shook. The lights flickered. Through his window, Taeyang saw it. A wave of radiation and superheated particles racing toward them from the sun. It looked beautiful and terrible, like a wall of fire in space. The alien girl wrapped her arms around him. Her glow intensified until Taeyang had to close his eyes against the brightness. He felt the radiation hit the station, felt the structure shudder and groan. Alarms screamed everywhere, but he felt no pain, no burning. When Taeyang opened his eyes, he saw why. The alien girl had created a bubble around them, a shield made of her own energy. The deadly radiation hit the shield and bent around it, flowing past them harmlessly. You're protecting me, Taeyang said in wonder. She looked at him, her eyes now a soft blue. She nodded. Yes, she was protecting him. But why? Why would she risk herself? The storm lasted for 10 minutes. The longest 10 minutes of Taeyang's life. He held the alien girl and she held him, her shield keeping them both safe. When the storm finally passed, she released him and stepped back. She looked tired, her glow dimmer than before. Thank you, Taeyang said. You saved my life, she smiled, then began to fade. But before she disappeared completely, she spoke. Her voice was soft and accented, struggling with the human language, but unmistakably clear. You came back, she said in Korean. Finally. Then she was gone, and Taeyang stood alone in his quarters, trying to understand what she meant. Came back? From where? When? He had never been to this planet before. None of his people had. This was first contact, or was it? The words haunted Taeyang for days. You came back, finally. What did she mean? He had never been here before. Humans had only discovered this planet 6 months ago. There was no way he could have come back from somewhere he had never been. Minho thought differently. The language expert spent every waking hour researching, digging through old Earth records and colonial databases. There's something here, he told the team during another meeting. Something hidden in our history. What are you talking about? Jiwon asked, impatient as always. Minho displayed an old document on the screen. The text was faded and partially corrupted. This is from 3,000 years ago, early space exploration era. A colony ship called the New Dawn left Earth heading for a distant star system. It never arrived at its destination. Records say the ship was lost with all hands. Over 200 people. Ships got lost back then, Hana said. Space travel was dangerous. What does this have to do with our situation? The ship's last known trajectory, Minho highlighted the star map, passes directly through this sector of space. Near this planet, silence filled the room. Taeyang felt his heart beating faster. You think they crashed here? Maybe, or maybe they landed on purpose. The records from that era are incomplete. Wars happened. Governments fell. Information was lost. What if that ship made it here? What if those colonists survived? For how long? Jiwon asked skeptically. Even if they survived the crash, they couldn't last long without proper equipment. And where's the wreckage? We've scanned this planet. No crashed ships. No human settlements. Unless someone cleaned it up, Taeyang said quietly. Someone who didn't want us to find it. The alien girl appeared that night in Taeyang's quarters as he studied the old colony records. He wasn't surprised anymore. He had started expecting her visits, even looking forward to them. I need to understand, Taeyang said to her. Help me understand what you meant. How did I come back? She moved close to him, closer than before. She placed both hands on the sides of his head, gently, carefully. Her eyes locked onto his. Then the world fell away. Images flooded Taeyang's mind. Not his memories, but hers. He saw the planet as it was 3,000 years ago. primitive, beautiful. Her people lived simply then, without technology or cities. They were few in number, scattered in small tribes. Then the sky burned. A ship fell from the stars, breaking apart as it entered the atmosphere. It crashed in a valley far from civilization. Many humans died in the crash, but some survived. Taeyang saw them through her memories. Humans in old-style spacesuits, scared and injured. They had children with them. Families, scientists, engineers, all stranded on an alien world with no hope of rescue. The alien people found them. Taeyang felt fear in the memory. The humans were afraid of the aliens. The aliens were afraid of the humans. But fear gave way to necessity. The humans needed help to survive. The aliens were curious about these strange beings from the sky. Slowly, carefully, contact was made. A human man, brave or desperate, approached the aliens with his hands raised in peace. An alien female, curious and bold, approached him the same way. They couldn't speak each other's languages, but they found ways to communicate. The images shifted. Months passed. Then years. The humans taught the aliens many things: science, mathematics, agriculture, medicine. The aliens learned quickly, their minds hungry for knowledge. They showed the humans their world, shared their food and shelter, protected them from the planet's dangers. Bonds formed, friendships, and something deeper. Taeyang saw a human man working with alien people to build a shelter. The man had kind eyes and gentle hands. He taught the aliens about plants, about growing food in organized ways. The aliens loved him for his patience and knowledge. One alien in particular stayed close to him. A female with markings that glowed softly in the darkness. She followed him everywhere, learning everything he taught. And slowly, carefully, something grew between them. Not just friendship. Something that crossed the impossible gap between species. Daeho, Taeyang whispered. The name came to him through the memory. His name was Daeho. The images showed more. Daeho and the alien female, whose name translated to something like Kira, spending time together. Learning each other's languages, teaching each other about their worlds. Daeho showed Kira pictures of Earth stored in his damaged datapad. Kira showed Daeho the secret places of her world, the crystal caves and singing forests. Years passed in the memories. The humans built a small settlement. They had children born on the alien world. The two species lived together, learning from each other. The aliens evolved rapidly, their biology adapting to incorporate what they learned. They developed technology, built cities, grew strong. Then the rescue came. Earth ships arrived in orbit searching for any trace of the lost colony. They found the survivors. The human government wanted everyone back. There were arguments, tears, difficult choices. Some humans wanted to stay. They had made lives here, had families, had bonds with the alien people. But in the end, they all left. The government insisted. Earth needed to study what happened, to debrief the survivors, to decide what to do about the alien species. Promises were made. The humans swore they would return. They would come back to visit, to continue the friendship, to honor the bonds formed. Daeho stood with Kira at the settlement, both of them crying. He promised her, "I will come back. Even if it takes my whole life, I will find a way to return. If not me, then my children or their children. Someone from my family will come back. I promise." Kira promised too. "We will wait. We will remember everything you taught us. We will be ready when your people return. We will show them we were worthy of your kindness." Then the ships left. The humans went back to Earth, and the aliens waited and waited and waited. 3,000 years passed. The aliens, who called themselves Villani, grew into a powerful civilization. They built cities that blended technology with nature. They developed abilities humans would call magic. They became strong enough to travel between stars. But they stayed on their world, waiting for the humans to keep their promise. Earth forgot. Governments changed. Records were lost. The story of the New Dawn became just another tragedy in history. No one remembered the promise. No one came back, until now. The memories faded. Taeyang found himself on his knees in his quarters, the alien girl supporting him. His face was wet with tears, though he didn't remember starting to cry. "You're descended from Kira," Taeyang said, his voice shaking. "And I'm descended from Daeho," she nodded. Her eyes were gentle, understanding. She helped him stand, then placed his hand over her chest again. He felt that complex heartbeat, that pulse that was almost but not quite human. Your people can sense it, Taeyang realized. You can feel the genetic markers. You knew I was related to Daeho the moment you saw me. Another nod. She touched his chest and he understood. She could feel Daeho's blood in him, passed down through 3,000 years and countless generations. The connection was faint but real. But why didn't you contact us officially? Send ships to Earth? You're advanced enough. She made a sad sound. Through their growing connection, Taeyang felt the answer. They had tried. Twice Villani ships approached Earth. Both times humans attacked them with weapons, afraid of invasion. The Villani retreated, unwilling to fight the descendants of the people who had shown them kindness. So they waited for humans to come to them. Waited for someone to find their world again. Waited for someone who carried Daeho's blood. Waited for Taeyang. The others don't know, Taeyang said. My crewmates, Earth, no one knows this history except you. She touched his face gently. She was trying to tell him something else. Through their connection, images formed. He saw Earth ships coming to this system. Not small research vessels like Horizon's Edge. Big ships. Military ships. Ships that carried weapons and soldiers. They're coming here to take the planet, Taeyang understood with growing horror. Earth found out about your abilities during the solar storm. They detected the energy you used to save me. Now they want your technology, your power. She showed him more. Her people preparing for the humans' arrival. Not preparing for war, but preparing to welcome them. The Villani had been waiting 3,000 years. They wouldn't let fear stop them from trying again. But Earth didn't come in peace. The military fleet wanted to secure the planet, study the Villani, take their technology by force if necessary. And the Villani, bound by the principles of compassion and cooperation that Daeho and the other colonists had taught them, wouldn't fight back. They would let themselves be conquered rather than betray what humans had taught them about kindness. No, Taeyang said firmly. That's not going to happen. I won't let it. She looked at him with those color-changing eyes. Hope flickered across her face. She believed in him. She believed he was like Daeho, that he would keep the promise his ancestor made. I need to tell my crew, Taeyang said. Show them what you showed me. Make them understand what's at stake. She hesitated, then nodded. But she touched his chest one more time and he felt a warning. Not all humans would care. Some would see only opportunity, only power to take. Some would see the Villani as obstacles or resources, not as people worth protecting. I know, Taeyang said, but I have to try. Daeho would try. She smiled then, a real smile full of warmth and hope. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead against his. In that moment, Taeyang felt the weight of the military fleet arrive 3 days later. 27 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel and took positions around the planet. Admiral Suyin commanded the fleet from the flagship Resolute. She contacted Horizon's Edge within the hour. This system is now under Earth military jurisdiction, Admiral Suyin announced. Her face on the view screen looked tired but determined. All civilian personnel are to cooperate with our investigation of the indigenous species. Hana stood in the station's command center, her jaw tight. Admiral, we've established peaceful contact with the Villani. They're not hostile. We need to approach this carefully. Commander Hana, I've read your reports. Energy beings that can phase through solid matter, manipulate gravity, and survive in hard vacuum. Earth needs to understand this technology. We need to ensure these beings don't pose a threat. They're not technology, Taeyang said, stepping forward. They're people. Living, thinking, feeling people who've been waiting for us for 3,000 years. Admiral Suyin's expression didn't change. Researcher Taeyang, I've read your reports too. Your personal involvement with one of these beings concerns me. Your objectivity may be compromised. My objectivity is fine, Taeyang shot back. But my humanity isn't compromised. That's more than I can say for this mission. Before the Admiral could respond, every screen in the command center flickered. The lights dimmed. A presence filled the station, powerful and unmistakable. Lyra appeared on the command deck and she wasn't alone. 2 other Villani stood with her, both glowing with inner light. Admiral Suyin's image froze, then disappeared. The Villani had taken control of all communications. They're saying hello, Taeyang explained to his shocked crewmates. Introducing themselves properly. One of the other Villani, an older male with silver markings, spoke. His voice resonated in everyone's mind simultaneously, translating automatically into thoughts they could understand. We welcome the children of Earth. We have waited long for your return. Admiral Suyin's voice crackled back over the radio, angry and alarmed. What did you do to our systems? Restore communications immediately. They didn't damage anything, Jiwan said, checking his instruments. They just borrowed the systems for a moment. Everything's working fine. The silver-marked Vellani continued. We know you come with weapons. We know you come with fear, but we also know you come from those who taught us kindness. We will not fight you. We will not resist you. We only ask that you remember what your ancestors taught ours. Remember compassion. Remember cooperation. Remember hope. Then they vanished, releasing control of the systems. Admiral Suyin's face reappeared, and now she looked shaken. What just happened? They introduced themselves, Hana said quietly. And they told you they won't fight back no matter what you do. Minho pulled up data on his screen. Admiral, I'm sending you historical records. 3,000 years ago, a human colony ship crashed on this planet. The survivors lived with the Vellani for years before being rescued. The humans taught them everything, helped them evolve. This isn't first contact, it's a reunion. Admiral Suyin studied the data in silence. When she finally spoke, her voice was carefully neutral. Even if this is true, Earth needs to secure this technology. These abilities the Vellani possess could change everything. We can't just walk away. They're not your technology to take, Taeyang said. They're a sovereign species. We made a promise to them 3,000 years ago. We promised to come back as friends, not conquerors. Promises made 3,000 years ago don't bind current governments, the Admiral replied. I have my orders. All personnel on Horizon's Edge are to cooperate with our assessment teams. If you refuse, you'll be placed under arrest for obstruction. The connection ended. Hana turned to her crew, her expression grim. Thoughts? We can't let them treat the Vellani like lab specimens, Taeyang said immediately. Daeho and the others would be ashamed of what we've become. But we can't fight an entire fleet, Jiwan pointed out. Even if the Vellani could help us, fighting would just make things worse. Minho had been quiet, thinking. Now he spoke up. What if we show them? The Admiral, the soldiers, all of them. What if we show them what Taeyang saw? The memories, the history, the connection. Maybe they'll understand if they experience it themselves. The Vellani can share memories, Taeyang said slowly. Lyra showed me everything. If they could do that to the fleet, it's risky, Hana warned. The military doesn't like people messing with their minds. They might see it as an attack. It's our only chance, Taeyang insisted. We have to try. That night, Taeyang met Lyra in the station's observation deck. She appeared silently, her form glowing against the backdrop of stars and her planet below. Can your people share memories with many humans at once? He asked. Show them what you showed me? Lyra tilted her head, considering. Through their growing bond, Taeyang felt her uncertainty. It was possible, but difficult. And dangerous. Some humans might not accept the memories. Their minds might reject the truth, might interpret it as attack or invasion. We have to try, Taeyang said. Otherwise this ends badly for everyone. Lyra moved close to him. She placed her hand over his heart, feeling his determination and his fear. Then she nodded. Her people would try. The next day, Admiral Suyin sent shuttles to the planet's surface. Marine teams in full combat gear prepared to establish a perimeter around the Vellani cities. Taeyang watched from Horizon's Edge, his stomach churning with anxiety. The shuttles landed. Marines spread out across the crystal forests. Then the Vellani appeared. Not just Lyra and a few others. Thousands of them. They materialized around the human soldiers, surrounding them peacefully. Hold your fire, Admiral Suyin commanded over the radio. Do not engage unless attacked. The Vellani didn't attack. Instead, they reached out to the nearest humans. They touched helmets, touched gloves, touched hearts, and they shared. Taeyang watched through the shuttle cameras as hardened soldiers fell to their knees, tears streaming down their faces. They saw what he had seen. They felt what he had felt. The crash, the survival, the friendship, the love, the promise, the 3,000 years of waiting. They saw humanity at its best, reflected in the eyes of an alien species. On the flagship, Admiral Suyin staggered. One of the Vellani had appeared on her bridge and touched her. Now she saw everything too. The memories flooded through her, breaking down her military training, her orders, her fear. She saw Daeho teaching young Vellani how to grow food. She felt his patience, his kindness, his love for these strange beings. She saw Kira learning, growing. becoming someone who could think and dream beyond her primitive origins. She saw the promise, heard the words, felt the weight of them across 3,000 years. When the memories faded, Admiral Suyin sat in her command chair, shaking. Her officers stood around her in similar states of shock. They had all experienced it. They all knew the truth now. "Stand down," the Admiral ordered quietly. "All units stand down. Return to ships, Admiral," her second-in-command asked, confused. "What about our orders?" "Our orders were based on incomplete information," Admiral Suyin said. She touched her chest where the Villani had touched her. She could still feel the echo of that connection. "These aren't subjects to study. They're people who've been waiting for us to keep a promise, and I won't be the one who breaks it." But not everyone agreed. Commander Byung, the leader of the Marine forces, refused the order. "This is manipulation," he argued over the command channel. "They're controlling our minds, making us see what they want us to see. We can't trust these visions." "I was there," Admiral Suyin said firmly. "Inside those memories. They're real, I felt it." "You felt it too, Commander. Don't lie to yourself." "I felt something," Byung admitted. "But feelings aren't facts. These beings are too powerful to leave uncontrolled. We need to secure them now while we have the chance." Several ships in the fleet agreed with Byung. Hardliners who saw only threat and opportunity. They refused to stand down. Instead, they moved into attack positions around the planet. "Commander Byung, you are relieved of duty," Admiral Suyin said. "Return to the flagship immediately." "I'm sorry, Admiral. I'm taking command of this operation, for Earth's safety." Before anyone could react, Byung's faction fired, not at the planet directly, but at the Villani cities visible from orbit. Energy weapons lanced down from space, deadly and precise. "No!" Taeyang shouted from Horizon's edge. The Villani responded instantly. They appeared in space itself, thousands of them, creating barriers of pure energy. The weapons' fire hit the barriers and stopped. Not reflected, not absorbed, just stopped, frozen in space like insects in amber. Then Lyra appeared on the flagship's bridge again. Her eyes blazed red, angry, but she didn't attack. She just looked at Admiral Suyin with those color-changing eyes, and the Admiral understood. The Villani could destroy the fleet easily. They could phase through the ship's hulls, disable every system, leave the humans drifting helplessly in space. But they wouldn't, because Daeho had taught them better. Even now, facing weapons fire, they chose mercy over revenge. "Byung, stand down," Admiral Suyin ordered again. "They could kill us all, right now," with a thought. "But they won't, because they're better than we are." Commander Byung hesitated. His ships held there. Taeyang knelt in the crystal forest, holding Lyra's cold hand, feeling emptiness where their connection had been. Around him, other Villani gathered silently, their glows dim with grief. They had lost 12 of their people, saving the planet from human weapons. 12 lives sacrificed because they refused to break the principles humans had taught them 3,000 years ago. "I'm sorry," Taeyang whispered to Lyra's still form. "I'm so sorry. We should have been better. We should have remembered." A hand touched his shoulder. Hana knelt beside him, her own eyes wet with tears. "Taeyang, we need to get her to their healers. Maybe they can help." But the silver-marked Villani who had appeared on the station shook his head. "She is beyond our healing. She took too much destruction into herself. The damage cannot be undone." Taeyang wanted to scream. He wanted to rage at the universe for its cruelty. Instead, he just held Lyra's hand tighter and cried. He had known her for such a short time, but the bond they shared had been deeper than time. Through her memories, he had known her people's entire history. Through her touch, he had felt her soul. And now she was gone. Then something impossible happened. Warmth spread through Taeyang's chest. Not from outside, but from within. His skin began to glow with soft blue light, just like Lyra's markings had glowed. The light spread down his arms to his hands, and where it touched Lyra's cold skin, her body began to glow too. "What's happening?" Jiwon asked, backing away in shock. The silver-marked Villani stepped forward, his eyes wide. "The blood wakes. Daeho's gift finally activates." Taeyang didn't understand the words. He only knew that something inside him was reaching out to Lyra, trying to pull her back from death. The light between them grew brighter, wrapping them both in a cocoon of energy. Memories flooded through Taeyang again. Not Lyra's memories this time, but older ones. He saw Daeho and Kira together in their final days before the rescue ships arrived. Kira was crying, terrified she would never see Daeho again. Deho held her close and made a promise. Part of me will always remain, Deho said. I'll leave something in my blood, in my genes. A gift for your people, so that if we ever meet again, you'll know us. You'll be able to find us, and we'll be able to find you. Kira had touched him then, and their energies had merged for a moment. She had changed him on a cellular level, given him abilities that would lie dormant for generations. He had done the same to her, ensuring their bloodlines would always be able to recognize each other across time and space. The gift had passed down through Deho's descendants, hidden and sleeping, waiting for the right moment to wake. And now, holding Lyra's dying form, Taeyang's gift finally activated. He felt Lyra's essence, her consciousness trapped in her failing body. He reached for it with his newfound ability, guided by instinct and desperation. Their energies merged like they had before, but deeper this time. Her essence flowed into him and his flowed into her. They became one being for a moment, neither human nor Vellani, but something new. In that merged state, Taeyang understood everything. He felt the full weight of 3,000 years of waiting. He experienced the Vellani's hope, their patience, their love for humanity despite being forgotten. He felt their pain at the weapons fire, their sadness at having to prove themselves through sacrifice. But he also felt Lyra's individual thoughts. Her curiosity when she first sensed his genetic markers on the planet's surface, her excitement at finally meeting someone from Deho's line, her nervousness approaching him that first time, hoping he would accept her, her joy at every moment they spent together, her fear during the solar storm, her determination to protect him no matter the cost, and underneath it all, deeper than memory or thought, he felt her love. Not romantic love, not yet, but the kind of love that crosses impossible boundaries, that sees beyond species and biology to recognize a kindred spirit. She loved humanity for what they had been. She loved Taeyang for what he could be. Don't leave me, Taeyang thought to her essence. We just found each other. There's so much more to learn, to share. Please come back. Lyra's essence stirred. Through their merger, she felt his thoughts, his pain, his desperate hope. She felt the activation of Deho's gift in his blood. She understood what it meant. We can exist together, Lyra's thoughts whispered. My body is broken, but my essence can remain. With you, in you, forever connected. Yes, Taeyang agreed without hesitation. Stay with me. Their energies settled, finding balance. Lyra's physical form began to fade, turning into pure light. But her essence remained, anchored to Taeyang through the bond they shared. She became part of him, not controlling or possessing, but coexisting. Two minds in harmony, the cocoon of light faded. Taeyang opened his eyes and found himself still kneeling in the crystal forest. But everything looked different. He saw the world through two sets of eyes now, human and Vellani. He felt two heartbeats, his physical one and Lyra's energetic one. Taeyang, Hana asked carefully. Are you okay? Your eyes. They're changing colors. Taeyang stood up slowly. His body felt different, stronger. He looked at his hands and saw faint glowing marks appearing on his skin, similar to Lyra's patterns. She's still here, he said quietly. Inside me, with me. We're connected permanently now. The silver-marked Vellani approached, studying Taeyang with wonder. The first bridge. The prophecies spoke of this. A being who could exist as both human and Vellani, who could walk between both worlds. We thought it was just a story. Ji-won pulled out his scanner, checking Taeyang's readings. This is incredible. Your cellular structure is changing. You're developing abilities similar to the Vellani, but maintaining your human biology. You're becoming something new. Minho was already taking notes frantically. This changes everything. If others carried Deho's dormant gift, they could activate it too. Humans and Vellani could truly merge, become one people. But Taeyang wasn't thinking about the bigger picture. He was adjusting to having Lyra's presence in his mind. She showed him how to access her abilities, how to phase through solid matter, how to manipulate energy, how to survive in vacuum, all the powers that had made her people seem magical to humans. I need to go to the fleet, Taeyang said. Through Lyra's knowledge, he understood what needed to happen next. The Vellani need to reveal themselves fully. Show humans everything. No more secrets, no more hiding. Complete honesty. Can you teleport? Hana asked. Like Lyra could? Taeyang concentrated. Lyra's essence guided him, showing him how to think of a place and be there. He pictured the flagship's bridge. The world shifted, and suddenly he stood in Admiral Suyin's command center. Officers jumped in shock, reaching for weapons. It's okay, Admiral Suyin said, raising her hand to stop them. She had seen enough Villani appearing and disappearing to stay calm.
Taiyang.
What happened to you? Lyra survived, Taiyang explained, but not in the way you'd expect. We're bonded now, permanently. I carry her essence, her knowledge, her abilities. He demonstrated, his form becoming transparent, then solid again. His hands glowed with energy. His eyes cycled through colors like Lyra's had. This is what Deho left in his bloodline, Taiyang continued, the ability to bridge both species. Others like me exist on Earth, descendants of the original colonists. They could all activate this gift. Admiral Suyin sat down heavily. Earth Command needs to see this. They need to understand what's possible. Over the next few days, everything changed. The Villani allowed human scientists to study their cities, their technology, their culture. They shared everything openly, holding nothing back. They wanted humanity to understand them completely. In return, Admiral Suyin negotiated a formal treaty. Not conquest or exploitation, but partnership. The Villani would help humanity advance. Humanity would bring new perspectives and ideas to the Villani. Both species would grow together. More importantly, Earth began searching for other descendants of the New Dawn colonists. They found hundreds scattered across human colonies. Some had the gift dormant in their blood. And when they were introduced to Villani, some of those gifts activated. Hana was one of them. When a young Villani male named Kyle touched her hand in friendship, her skin began to glow. She felt the connection forming, the abilities awakening. She looked at Taiyang with wide eyes. I feel it. Everything you described. It's amazing. It means you're meant to be a bridge too, Taiyang explained. Like me, like others who will come. Within months, dozens of human Villani bonds formed, each one unique, each one creating someone who could exist between both worlds. They became teachers, diplomats, explorers. They showed both species how to understand each other. Jiwan and his Villani partners created hybrid technology that revolutionized space travel. Ships that could phase between dimensions, energy sources that never depleted, communication systems that worked instantly across any distance. Minho established schools where human children and young Villani learned together. They grew up speaking both languages, understanding both cultures. The next generation would not know the division between species. To them, humans and Villani were just people. But the Villani revealed one final secret to Taiyang and the other bridges. One that would change humanity's future forever. The silver-marked Villani, whose name was Elder Rin, took Taiyang to a hidden chamber deep beneath a crystal city. Inside a massive database,